geekversus.com.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Weekly Games Chat. I am your host, Chris, as always, joined by my co-host, Sean.
Hey, how's everybody doing?
Pretty good.
Yeah, I think everybody is probably doing pretty good.
Well, yeah.
I mean,
we are everybody now.
Yeah.
John died.
they're like, wait a minute. Why didn't he say
it's not a bit,
John?
He died. If you were expecting to hear John today, I don't know how to tell you this. He passed away about 2 weeks ago.
The John you knew. But will he come back for the game? Will he
come back?
Can I mention anything about Game of Thrones? Do you think it's too soon?
That's April 19th of
No, I'm talking
2019, isn't it?
There was a certain thing I was going to say about a certain John on Game of Thrones.
Oh, that one, the one with the old Jon Snow.
Let's just say, is he going to pull a Jon Snow? We'll leave it at that. People can figure out what they mean.
I think it's okay to make that reference. I mean, it's been like 2 years.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while.
But yeah, poor John.
He really is dead.
Hashtag rip.
Well, you kind of banished him to death today.
Yeah.
You and your fearful.
I've got to, man. I
don't blame you.
Yeah.
He, like, when he told me, he was like, well, got this. I'm like, you sound like a man who needs to go home and not kill people.
Yeah. He when I started talking to him after you and I talked about what we were going to do, he said, I think I just need to go home. I was like,
well, I mean, when he asked me originally, that was what I told him. I was like, if you feel sick or you think you're contagious, I was like, you should just go home.
Or if you just don't have, I mean, if he just doesn't have the energy or if he just don't feel good because he don't feel good, just go home.
He's bad, but friend of the show, Josh D.
Yeah.
He has been through hell. What's like these last 2 weeks. He's been on FML.
Oh my God.
Yeah, like he got strep, and then from there that led to a respiratory infection.
What?
Yeah, he was like in the emergency room and stuff. It was bad for him. Prayers for Josh.
Yeah.
Hashtag. Should have put that first.
He's like, that's my buddy.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know this.
Yeah, I was talking. He finally felt well enough yesterday to talk to me, and like he was, you could tell like that throat was.
Did you wish him well for us?
I did.
Or from us? Or?
He was playing WoW.
Well, that's good. He's getting better then. Yeah, he's feeling a little better.
Yeah, once he could start playing WoW, it's like he said it was like actually the first time he had played since like back in October.
The reason he told you that was so you would tell me.
Yeah. It's all.
And now the show's going to be ruined because all I'm going to play is WoW.
But you have to go play a different thing.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Clock's ticking.
It is. Next week.
Adam was playing. I didn't see you play this week.
I did not. I got the game downloaded, but it doesn't matter because I have a week.
Mm-hmm.
But no, Adam played the first.
Commitment right there, folks. He's like, I got to play Fortnite. The
commitment is, I played like 2 games of Fortnite, first off.
You've been in a party. I have seen it with like.
But I haven't been playing, and just because the game's on doesn't mean I'm playing. The servers were messed up.
Yeah,
the PlayStation network was down again, where I couldn't see friends.
You got like 15 wins in a row yesterday.
2, and then I quit.
That's not true.
It is true.
It's because it's 8.
And here's Sean with the last kill.
Right.
But yeah, we plan to actually commence that tonight. What we're talking about is Monster Hunter World, which I should be talking about next week.
Should be the topic next week.
Should be.
I really am still like, there's part of me that says I should go get that and play it. But then there's another part of me that goes Japan.
Well, from what I gathered, there's some quirkiness issues with connection of parties, but I think
I've heard that, especially on Xbox.
On Xbox, yeah. And there is a level of depth that if you're not used to that in a game, it can make you feel overwhelmed. But it does come together. So
yeah, that's not a problem for me. I think it would be fun.
Do you?
I just don't know how much time right now I have to go repeat and grind, which is kind of like the base of this game. Like if this had come out like mid-December, it would have been a perfect time.
Why? Guess when you bought all kind of games for like Black Friday sales and stuff.
Yeah, I did, but those weren't like pressing things. They were just there. And like
they weren't like pressing.
If it had come out like 2 weeks ago, I would have been a lot better.
Well, we'll see. Like I said, I love the franchise. I love the game. So hopefully I can really get us some good information. And for what people want to hear,
yeah,
is of course my thoughts on the game, because they
no
love
one cares
us.
about your
they
thoughts.
love us. I should have said our thoughts on the game.
Maybe if Cam came in, we could hear his thoughts. I'm interested.
He said he might. If he said just let him know, he would not mind. So
he is the Abe Lincoln of podcast.
I will tell you this: he speaks super fast.
Yeah, man.
He's got a little. He's got possibly more of a country twang than I do.
He's definitely closer to Geoff.
Yeah, so it would be cool.
Which makes sense because they both live on the same Alabama road, pretty much.
People are like, "Who is this Cam, and why is he going to show up?"
If he does. Let's see.
The Grammys happened last night.
Yeah, it's the day I dread the most, the day after the Grammys, because same thing happens every year. I get my hopes up. I'm like, maybe this is the year to get things right and do things good. Nope. Sorry, if you're an R&B or hip hop person, doesn't matter how many career
hip hop.
It's like it doesn't matter how many career defining. They're the equivalent of making blockbuster and comedy films in the Oscars. It's like no matter what you do, you're never going to be recognized for your achievement.
Yeah.
The best you're going to get is a nomination. You're never going to win the big stuff, and it just sucks because it's like, with all due respect to all the other genres, the major genres of music right now, like those are the two. Hip hop and R&B have been the two, like the last 5 years, that consistently are pushing the envelope and doing things that are like not just a couple of great songs, but like they make great albums. They really work on a musical presence, and it's like every year they lose to the guy who put 3 or 4 great singles out. It's like you lose to Taylor Swift, or you lose to Adele, or you lose this year Bruno Mars. No disrespect to Bruno Mars, but
yeah, I mean, I feel you. I'm looking at it from a perspective of the show was great. There were some great performances on it. Sure, you would have liked to see some different people win some awards, but I really had no qualms with who won.
I did, but
I mean, I know you just said it, but
yeah,
it is a lot like you said when this is comparable to like say an Oscars.
Yeah,
some things that you kind of think deserve it or should win. Somebody pointed out Jay-Z was nominated 8 times and didn't win, but then he does have Grammys. I think he's got like 12 Grammys.
I didn't feel as bad for him just because I was like, well, unfortunately for him, he's going up against Kendrick.
Well, Kendrick won last night.
Yeah, and I've kind of figured like, and that's the sad part too, though, is that Kendrick won pretty much in all the rap categories he was nominated for, because people who really aren't familiar with rap know he's the big name at the moment, so they just feel like,
I don't know,
I got to vote for you forever. Like Loyalty won last night, and I like Loyalty. That's a good song. Yeah. But if someone wants to tell me that's a better song in terms of like rap sung songs than Bad and Bougie, I got a problem with you saying that, because that was like the biggest freaking song from that kind of like music of all
I agree with you on that example, but on the hip hop side, there were some artists that if you don't listen to hip hop, like on a daily basis on hip hop stations, you may not know, because see, somebody like a Kendrick, though, he does have the power that he is bleeding over to pop stations.
Yes.
So I think that's where that kind of comes in play. I don't know, but
I get more upset with him not winning than I do like when the electronics and the more indie bands don't win, because I go like, look, the majority of those voters have never even heard of like, I don't know, someone who's not in electronic music whose name is not Daft Punk.
Right.
Or, like really for the indie bands, it's like anyone not named Radiohead, they're going to have a very big uphill battle. Like the only other 2 I can remember in recent memory who've gotten nominated, one actually did manage to win, because there was like, and that was an upset year too against Kanye, I think, was Arcade Fire back in 2011. But like my problem with the Grammys versus like the Oscars is like, yes, they need to improve to make sure things like comedic and big action films, when they really do push an envelope, get in there and get talked about. But the films who are winning are like very well received, highly praised. Like they are truly people who are usually pushing boundaries and trying to do,
and a lot of times
artistic
those
things.
Movies are will be the equivalent in some cases of a really good independent album.
Yeah. Like I didn't have a problem. I thought the best movie of the ones nominated last year for the Oscars was La La Land. That was my personal pick. But I didn't have a problem with Moonlight winning. Moonlight was a solid film too, and it's just deserving as praise as pretty much all the other ones who were nominated last year.
Do you know that there exists a 2-pack La La Land pop set?
What?
Yes.
Is it just the two main characters? I guess?
And it's that move where they're kind of got one arm up and they're touching the other arm. Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Fun fact.
I need to see that here, Chris.
I know the Jurassic Park pops are coming soon.
Yeah.
And I need the Target exclusive Laying Down Ian Malcolm. Because he's like just trying not to die.
For people as old as us, I recently saw He-Man pops.
Wow.
And those are legit.
Let's just pray we don't get Nintendo pops.
Yeah, somebody trolled me at work the other day and told me there was a Mario and Yoshi pop that had just got announced. I started a Google search and I sent like 3 IMs to people who collect pops. It was false.
Penny has murdered a stuffed animal, by the way. I kind of figured it might happen. She's like proud.
Why'd you give her a stuffed animal? You know better.
I looked at it and I was like, I should have picked that up. But we had hit record, so it was too late.
Oh, no.
Right? But yeah.
It's demolished.
We'll see if the 4th straight critically acclaimed life achievement work of Kendrick Lamar is the one that finally nets him that Grammy, or Beyonce's 3rd straight one, or I don't know. Take your pick of like Childish Gambino and all these other great artists who are making great music.
Hey, he's also going to be Lando.
Yeah, and he's about to no longer be Childish Gambino. He's retiring it.
What's he going to be then?
He hasn't said. I'm going to guess he's probably just going to be Donald Glover. I'm sure.
That's probably a good move.
Yeah, he seems to be moving away from hip hop and more into R&B. So
more like cool. A soulful R&B-ish thing. Yeah,
it's like all of a sudden he started listening to Al Green and he's like, I need to make that, which I think is good because he's a good singer. I actually like his voice. Are we ready to do this?
I mean, I guess we can.
Is there anything else? I don't know what else there is.
I just wanted to point out to the listeners who care. The next time you hear our voices, we will have a Super Bowl champion.
That is true. This is coming this weekend.
Yeah.
There's really no good pick, is there?
Well, I got to be honest. I learned a lot about Tom Brady.
He's a good athlete.
He's a good dude, and we got a friend who really likes Tom Brady.
Yeah, we do.
Who currently resides in Florida.
Yeah.
And it would be kind of cool for him to, because his favorite team's the one that just won the national championship.
Yeah.
And then his favorite team would win the pro football championship.
Yeah.
So if that happens, I'll be happy for him because I like him.
I kind of by default have to root for them this year. So I'm never going to root for the Eagles. So
yeah, you're kind of in what they call a tough spot, Chris.
I'm not one of those people that like, I don't hate on success. Like, especially as a Bama fan, it's hard to be that guy. Like, how can I sit there and be like consistently every year, Bama, 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 and then be upset that, you know, Bill Belichick is kind of the equivalent of Nick Saban in the NFL right now. I mean, like, it is impressive to see. This will not happen again. When these two retire, that's going to be an end of an era.
To that kind of thing. And I mean,
for a long, until someone great comes along.
Yeah, you're right. I will say this: it'd be harder for me to maybe go for Philly over New England. I don't know who I'm going for yet, but if Carson Wentz had still been the quarterback, I really like that guy. He's a good quarterback.
If they win,
I couldn't go against. I don't know if I can go against Tom. I know there's some people that just hate him, but
yeah,
somebody said this. Who does more with less on a consistent basis as far as superstar targets, receivers? Gronk's hurt like 15 games a year.
Bill Belichick.
Well, I'm saying as far as a quarterback, from a quarterback standpoint,
okay. Yeah.
You don't have a big star running back. You have people who fit in the system.
Maybe Russell Wilson. That'd be the only other person
he had.
Or back in the day, Peyton Manning. Because Peyton Manning...
He had Edgerrin James and...
Whoa. Remember, Peyton Manning left the Colts, and they went from a team that went from the AFC Championship to losing, 15 games the next year and getting Andrew Luck because of it. Like, that's how bad they were. Like, that's how good Peyton Manning is. Like, I think people sometimes, like, lose that. Like,
I don't lose it. I don't lose it. I'm just telling you, I think Tom Brady's better than Peyton Manning.
I think... pure talent-wise, Peyton Manning's the better quarterback. I think...
What?
But I do think managing a game on the line, I will say, I don't think there's a better quarterback in the history of our league than Tom Brady. Like, I can say this. There are times I will count Peyton Manning out. I just know it's like it's not that team. No matter how great Peyton is, if if he's never had an ability to make the adjustments in a way where you just know he's not going to have problems.
What's happening now? What's happening? You looked over my shoulder.
Now she's cleaning my kitchen, apparently. Oh. Penny is a busy girl when we record this thing. But on the other hand, if you like told me, do I think if Peyton Manning were the quarterback for the New England Patriots the last 20 years, would he have more rings than he ended up having? Yes, he definitely would have had, because there were a number of years where it was basically like just Peyton Manning and Reggie Bush or Marvin Harrison, and that was it. That was the offense, and it was like how quickly
Reggie Bush.
Or not Reggie Wayne. Reggie Wayne, that's what I meant.
Reggie Wayne, Marvin Harrison, Edgerrin James.
Edgerrin James was...
What?
Edgerrin James was good, but I mean, like, he had like 2 good years.
Yes.
Peyton was like the quarterback there for 17.
We'll see. We're probably going to get emails on this.
It's just one of those things, like, if you told me, like, he was there, especially like the year, man, when they were almost undefeated, and you're telling me that they had that defense and you have Peyton Manning and Randy Moss. Oof, I'd take that. Or if Peyton Manning had been on the Eagles that year and he had been Peyton Manning and Terrell Owens
instead of Donovan, so you're pissing off Donovan McNabb fans.
I will always piss off Eagle fans,
and you're making the Tom Brady fans go, what? Or we had Tom Brady.
Even like I'll even say for my team, right? If you took Peyton Manning in the mid 2000s, where we had like all these terrible QBs, remember?
You had RG3.
Well, before like back in the era of Jason Campbell, God, who was the terrible dude from Oregon or Shane Matthews, all those terrible dudes.
Yeah.
Like if we had just had Santana Moss, freaking Clinton Portis, and Peyton Manning back then, that would have been dynamite. I would have taken that to the house.
You would take it to the house?
We would have won an NFC championship, I bet, with that.
I mean, the Skins, maybe.
And Sean Taylor?
I don't know. That owner he messes with things. I don't like.
He's gotten better. He's been good the last
But what I'm
years.
saying, during that time frame, I don't think he would have.
Oh, yeah.
He would have messed something up.
Probably. He'd been like, we should probably trade.
Let me Schneider this.
Yeah. That's like all owners in that area. Okay, we've managed to take this.
We talked about sports and music and what else? And people dying.
And Monster Hunter.
And Monster. We talked about, we did squeeze a little game in there. Okay, but.
Rest in peace, John.
Rip John. Hashtag, we miss you.
We need to get a new host. Is Cam? Can we replace him with Cam?
Oh, that's so funny. All right, let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Topic time.
The topic is...
Here we go. I'm finding out with you guys. Let's do it.
They are Billions.
Yeah, they are.
The early access game that is blowing up Steam, probably easily the most successful in recent months since, of course, PUBG. Definitely not on PUBG's level, but few things ever on PUBG's level.
But if a PUBG didn't exist, this would be really big.
It has been like, it came out back in December in early access, and they've said it has for the last 2 months been pretty much, and I've looked, every time I get on there, right at the top of the charts of Steam. PUBG's always number one. I think usually that Black Desert game that you like is number
Black
2,
Desert
but
Online,
this has been solid number 3, like this, and
no, don't get it twisted.
There's a card game, I can't remember the name.
Gwent, your favorite?
No, it's something with Spire. It's another early access game, which is supposed to be really cool.
The Black Desert Online would be fun. Don't say I like it. I haven't played it yet.
No. I mean, like I always just see it out there. It is a very popular game on there.
Yeah.
$9.99.
It's $9.99?
I think that's what it's been.
That's so amazing. Totally going to get you to play it. But yeah, so you picked up this game and you told me kind of during the week that you're like, man, this game is...
Yeah, it's been a while. It is an RTS game, and it's been a while since I've been down the RTS hole.
That's what you said.
For those unfamiliar, a.k.a. John, who's listening from Beyond the Grave, that's real-time strategy, RTS, for those who are wondering. Yeah, like I remember man, Age of Empires, StarCraft, all that was my jam. Warcraft, they were all my jam back in college.
Yes.
So much. But yeah, it is a real-time strategy game by Numantium Games. I've never heard of them. But this is their new
Numantium?
thing. Yeah. Never. Please tell us, Sean.
What you mean you ain't heard of Numantium, man? You know how to make all the games.
But this game has blown up and is because it's taken the RTS genre and made it into something really fresh, interesting, and actually has taken another thing which has been really stale for me for a while and made it interesting for the first time. And
what is that?
That would be zombie games.
Oh.
Yeah, like zombie games to me have become like a dime a dozen because they all kind of go into they're always post-apocalyptic worlds.
Yeah.
And it's the only question is it a lot of zombies or are they fast zombies? That seems to be the big question that goes in between what kind of game you get. But
there's nothing more scarier than a fast zombie coming at you.
Yeah. I mean, every now and then I guess you either have like Left 4 Dead or you have The Last of Us type games.
I just realized it. That's why you didn't like Last of Us.
I didn't mind the zombie part of it. That wasn't why I didn't like it.
Okay. I was like,
because Last of Us is part really also just infection than zombies in a way, right? They're not technically zombies.
You should have seen the air quotes and the head bob.
Yeah. No, Last of Us. I didn't like the ending. As far as what they made you do when you go into the final confrontation thing.
I got you.
Like, there's that scene, and I was like, wait, why do I have to do this? And, like, it just didn't feel right. I was like, there's no reason to do this other than...
You're analytical, and if the why doesn't make sense, you're going to have a problem with it. I respect it.
I didn't like... I was like, they should have just let players choose what they do in this instance, because, like, it would have been the same outcome regardless. It was going to be the same outcome, but I was like, the way he carried himself, I just didn't like that. It just, like, made me go, like, well, now I don't like him because I did that. I didn't even have a choice.
Why'd you do that for?
Yeah, I just didn't like it. It was like, it's bad enough he's lying about all this other crap, but now you're going to put this on me too? Come on, man.
Did you, as far as this game, the Billions, did you go into it of course, you probably did. I'm just asking you so the people will know. But did you go into it knowing it was zombie based? I think you knew it was RTS, right?
I knew it was that, and I knew it had some hook with zombies, but I didn't quite know. Quickly, I discovered it's first and foremost, besides a zombie game, it's also very much a steampunk oriented game. Everything's got like a steampunk flair to it.
Yeah. Which we like, but we don't get enough credit because John apparently hogs all the steampunk love.
Yeah, apparently he's freaking H.G. Lovecraft or whatever that guy's name is. Yeah, that's all he does is he goes. He doesn't have a cart. He goes around in a balloon ship. That's how John gets to work every day. That's why we don't go to lunch, because you're like, John, it takes 45 minutes for your balloon ship to get to the north side of town. We can get in the Honda. It will be fine.
Let's do it.
But anyways, I just want to go to Moe's. That's all I really want right now.
Just want a burrito and some queso, bro. Yeah. I don't need all this to go on.
Yes. I do not need to see your freaking steam engine that we've gone past 1800s, John.
No, okay. I don't want to wear dumb goggles, John. Leave me alone.
We don't need to wear leather when it's 99 degrees outside today. We live in Georgia. Okay. Thank you very much.
Oh my god!
But anyways,
what's happening? Is this part 2?
Oh, she got her. That's fine. Okay. First, I was like, "What are you chewing on?"
The last time she was over there, which was last week.
Yeah, she hurled.
Oh,
she hurled the next day too when she ate her bone. I've just discovered I've really got to spread out like when she has a bone now with those kinds at least, because I guess it expands and then she goes. Brr.
Yeah, it literally blows her stomach up, which is not good. But she's looking all right now, so we're good.
Yeah.
Penny's good. For those of you, worrying, Penny looks fine. She's great.
She's trying to figure out what she wants to do
for you new people, and you're like, "Who is Penny?"
This is riveting radio right now. Oh, there she goes. She's in position. That's her zone right there.
This is a dog.
Yeah,
and she's adorable. That's all you need to worry about.
She's adorable. She did try to steal my gum the other day, though.
That's messed up.
She hid under the bed because I raised my voice at her. Because I was like, no. It was a little bit louder than that.
I hope that's how you say nose.
No. Anyway, so the idea of this game and why everyone I think is hooked into it, including yours truly, is that it takes the things that you love about RTS or your tendencies in RTS, and it flips them on their head, like where you just can't do what you want to do normally in an RTS. The idea for most RTSs is you go in, you start out with pretty base units and very little land to build upon. Mm-hmm. You build up, you get more units, you expand out. You keep getting more and more resources to expand. You invest in new technology and upgrade it, and slowly you get more powerful and take over a larger area and stockpiling more and more so that basically you can get to a point where it's like, okay, I've got 16, like Age of Empires is the best thing. Like I've built up 15 barracks across my lands, and I've built up 15 artillery factories, what they're called, I can't remember from it. Okay, so now I can basically crank out tons of soldiers and tons of trebuchets up until the point where I've amassed this humongous army where now I can send them off to, whether I'm playing a computer or an actual real person, to destroy them and take them down. And if you're playing a real person, you are figure out real quickly if your strategy and planning was smart or if you're a stupid idiot and you're going to die.
I'd probably die a lot.
Yeah, it happens. It definitely happens when you're playing other people. You go like, okay, I'm ready to go attack, and they're like already at your gate, and you go like, oh no.
You can play solo or actually play against people online.
Not in this game, but like other RTSs, yeah.
Well, what do you? This one's just a solo base.
Right now, it's just survival mode is what it's called.
And because, like you said, it's still in early access. So.
Yeah, they've said they're adding a campaign, I think, and they said, I'm not sure if they're adding competitive. I guess you could do it like where maybe you're competing against each other, but then you also have to deal with zombies. I don't know. But yeah, the idea of they are billions is, again, yes, you want to kind of build out your forces and your land and stuff. You only start with this one central colony headquarters, right? And that's your lifeblood in this game. If that ever falls, the game is over. You are done. And you just start out with 4 rangers and a soldier. The rangers have bow and arrow. The soldier has a gun. Can't really move the soldier around though, because guess what? Guns attract zombies because they make noise. Versus,
everybody, if you've watched a zombie movie or played a zombie game, you know that.
Yeah. Whereas rangers, they have bow and arrow, so it's silent. You can get. Yep, they're a little bit easier to get around. So you start out the game, and the first thing you start to do is send these rangers out so they can explore the map.
Yeah,
but very quickly as you do this, you'll find maybe you'll find some little hubs of maybe some supplies. That's one benefit. But on the other hand, eventually you're going to come to a point where you're going to run into some zombies. You're going to be like, oh, that's where they are. And it's going to be multiple directions. So then you quickly start to go, okay, I know where they are. I have to assess all my surroundings, like environment-wise, because it's a random map every time. It always changes. And I need to figure out where the choke points are, because I need to figure out how I can, over the course of the first couple of days, build up enough where I can create defenses and prepare for attacks or zombies coming in and protect my people as I'm building out.
You must protect your people.
Which is big because, like I said, most RTS games you're building out. It's just natural. You build out. You want to expand. You continually are trying to get stronger and stronger. And you might, you're going to worry about defenses, but they're not like a top-notch priority early on as they are in like this game.
Right.
Because the kicker to this game is those zombies limit where you can build, and more importantly, you are in a scenario for a good bit of the first game where if just one gets by you somehow, it's game over. There's no question you're about to lose. Because this game, and this is what I love about it from a zombie perspective that you just don't get, is that this isn't about trying to survive in the zombie apocalypse. The zombie apocalypse has happened. Now it's just trying to make it like not kill your colony. So imagine you started out right in the game. You started building. You built some houses so you can get workers. Right. You've built some lumber mills so you can start getting wood supplies, and you've built maybe a fishing cottage and all these other things, and some generators so you have more power. Well, all those things, they require workers, right? So you'll see like a great example is like the lumber mill. Lumber mill probably takes 4 workers to run, all right? Versus, say, I'm trying to think, like, I think the fishing cottage is only like 2 workers. Well, what happens is you have to you don't have the ability to build wood defenses around you right away. So what you have to do is you have to put rangers on kind of like patrolling things, just kind of watching these natural choke points to make sure no one's getting by. Mm-hmm. We'll say one zombie gets by, right? He gets by, and the ranger missed him, whatever, because maybe you have a large gap you're having to cover or something. The ranger goes and he starts attacking the lumber mill, all right? He keeps going at it, and after about 30 seconds, finally, the lumber mill falls. It corrupts. Well, what happens is one zombie now, where you had one, has become 4 zombies because everyone who works in that lumber mill is now a zombie. Well, those 4 zombies now go over to your fishing village or your fishing cottage. They attack that. 2 more people are now zombies on top of the 4. So we're up to like 7 zombies already. Then they start going to attack your houses. Now you're really screwed. Because you might have a bunch of workers you haven't assigned yet. So all of a sudden, 7 zombies become 25 zombies. And then finally, they go to your command center. You have 25 zombies trying to attack your command center. They will eventually bring it down because, in turn, you only have 4 rangers and a soldier to take them down with. Well, a ranger by himself can only do... it takes 4 hits to take down 1 zombie. It takes a soldier 2 shots to bring down 1 zombie, so there's just no way for them to control the mob. So, like, early on, you're in this pressure point where you're consistently being forced to watch this map to make sure that no one is getting by, because the moment they do, it's game. I've had it happen 50 times already in this, like, where I think I'm doing good, and all of a sudden I see, like, something has fallen, and all of a sudden I look over and there's 30 zombies just tearing through my whole entire kingdom, destroying everything in its path like a hive. Is
it normal for most RTS games to have a a pause button? Or is this unique to this game?
This is kind of unique to this one. Yeah. So that's kind of a big thing here, is that there is a pause function that you can do it every time, and you kind of have to live by it because you need to pause and think critically about your moves.
I was reading it now, but I was also reading it before we started going because I knew this was the game we were going to talk about. Yeah. And I was reading, there's some people out there, there's a ton of videos, but that was like the number 1 tip that people gave was to pause and think about what you're doing. Because it's almost inevitable that one's going to get through.
Yeah. Everything,
like you said.
Everything is kind of like a luxury in this game. Mm-hmm. So you really do have to think it out depending where you are. Because like you need to know like what maximizes my resource for a certain thing that I'm trying to get. You need to know what path do I need to get the upgrades I'm going to need for better defenses and also eventually better weapons and all that, and prioritizing those along with the timeline. Like, a great example is so there's kind of more barren land versus grassland, and you need to make sure to try to leave that grassland alone as much because eventually you unlock the ability to build farms. Farms can only be built on grassland. Well, like a basic fishing cottage, which is your first place you get food, can produce like I think a max of like 14 food per hut that you build, right? If you have a farm on grassland, the initial one can do up to 64 food for just one farm. So, you know, like understanding like that, making sure you leave that open long term and also make sure it's defended so that it won't ever get corrupted is like understanding those kind of things is vital. Like knowing where your mines are going to be and all that and planning around to say, I need to leave these things open for now just because I'm going to need those for other things eventually.
When we play Fortnite, for example, and we realize we're going to set a base up and we're kind of going to camp.
Yeah.
We set layers of defenses and different, you know, so if they get through one wave, now they went through wood, now we got a brick or a metal, and then we're up a couple of layers. Correct. So with that mindset, I'm thinking of how I would apply something like that to this game, and you would definitely want to do that. If you've got something very important that you want to protect, you're going to layer it with defenses to...
Correct, yeah. As you go on, you know, after about the first 7 days or so, you start to get to a point where you're building
7 real days.
7 in-world days.
Okay, I thought you meant like 7. I was
basically,
like, dude.
The thing that goes on in this game is early on, or before you start the game, you kind of set a timer. So, like, I think the default is 120 days. If you want an easier mode, you can do 150.
What happens
days.
at the end of that?
Well, we'll get to that.
Oh, why am I getting all excited about it? I can't wait.
So you're on a timer of this. So if you're doing like the default 120 days, you're basically kind of trying to get to a point where by day 13 you've got yourself a couple of key things. Some basic defenses, as you're talking about, like some wooden fences, maybe some spikes on the ground to slow them down. You've built a soldier training ground so you can start to make more soldiers so that, if need be, if there's a horde that comes through, you can get it back. And guess what? By day 13, you better have it, because all of a sudden then you're going to randomly start to run into these encounters where they tell you, like, hey, a zombie horde is coming, and they're coming from this direction in 8 hours. So if you don't have your stuff planned by then, it's pretty much game over then.
I ain't gonna, between reading up about this game and you talking about it, I really want to play it because I love the execution part. You said horde. Mm-hmm. And when you play horde mode in like a Gears of War, there's a lot of planning like that where you're going to put your barbed wire up on this step because this wave is coming from there.
Yeah, it's a lot of that. It's slowly setting up instances so like where no matter where the horde is coming from, you always feel like you're covered.
Yeah.
Like it would take a lot for you to all of a sudden just perish. Like my late game stuff, like I'll have, maybe at each checkpoint I've got like 15 soldiers going on, and I've got these guys called Lucifers that have just kind of huge
Richards?
Now they have huge flamethrowers, which they're awesome. They can clear out a lot of the littler zombies very quickly. But the big thing is those guys can't take out these big bloated zombies because they're flame proof. So you need like either soldiers to take them down or tons of I can't remember the name. They're Titans or something like that, which are these guys with rocket launchers that can shoot at that and do immense damage. You slowly start to like build up clusters though, like around you have stone walls, you have electrified fence around there and all this other stuff going on. And it requires more and more complex resources as you go, which is typical RTS stuff. But as I said, there's a clock.
Yeah, right.
You choose what you want the clock to be depending on the hardness. Like I think if you're wanting insane difficulty, you do like 80 days. The idea and the title, where the title of the game basically comes from.
Oh my God. I'm looking at pictures.
I think you've finally seen.
No. I didn't. I've never seen this picture.
Let's see.
But there is a gajillion zombies coming at these people.
I think you mean a billion. So yes, the idea is that eventually you are building up to an eventual showdown where all the zombies are going to come for you, and they are billions. And I mean, like, you will see. Oh my God. You will have to. The final wave of them all is like basically you putting up all your defenses and every soldier possible to guard off this just ginormous zombie horde that does not stop.
This looks amazing.
And pretty much you have to build it in a way where you're ready to fall back because stuff will eventually fall. There's just,
you got to fall back.
Yeah. It's more of like, can you plan well enough that as you fall back, you're systematically okay? Like it's not going to shut everything off where you're going to die. That's what's important. So it's really cool, and it pushes you to think about dealing with short-term situations, but also planning for your inevitable main goal, which is to survive this final wave, which I've yet to do. I've yet to win.
Well,
is
that your goal each time you play is to survive the final wave?
Yeah, your goal is to do it, and to do it on the regular or the regular difficulty. If you can do it through the regular difficulty on the first map, then you unlock the next map and the map after that.
I gotcha.
So I have yet to do that. I am not a great RTS guy by any stretch of the imagination. Josh was always the
well, I will tell you, it looks like the developers, the ones we know so much about.
Yeah,
they really are adding. Even as of yesterday, Kotaku is reporting that they've got
Yeah.
New waypoints, new housing styles, towers that can be repaired out in the map.
Yeah, they're consistently improving.
Have they been doing that from as far as when you downloaded the game?
Yeah, I've seen like about 8 updates since I got it about almost about 2 weeks ago. It just it is a challenging game because and it feels different. Like you just haven't seen that. Like that idea of like here are zombies, but it's not just like avoid them. It's like literally like no, they're going to come for you. The question is, are you ready to deal with it? And especially when things
do you want to die?
Yeah, pretty much. Like, do you know how to counter it? Or do you have the right prep to do it? Because, I mean, I've had a couple of instances now where like you get to like day 70, day 80, and like one of your defenses fails, and you have to quickly. You have to ask yourself, like, were you watching it and did you make the right call where you're like, I need to back up and get these people out of here now because this fence is about to fall, which means all of this right here is about to fall, which means I need to be prepared to hold this off.
Yeah.
And, for the most part, I've kind of figured out how to do that. Like, and then from there, once all that purge happens, right, and those things happen, you finally take care of it. Do you know then how to go back and build it in a way that's more efficient and more beneficial to what you need right then?
Or as I like to call it, more better.
Get more and better. That's all you gotta do. Just get more and better.
Now, the price, is it still $24.99? Did you buy it for that? Do you feel like that's a good...
I think it's a solid price. I mean, it's an early access game, so you kind of just need to know what you're getting. You're not getting the finished product right now.
Right.
But you're getting a game that clearly is in its beta form. It runs perfectly fine. I've never had it crash or anything like that. It's just... maybe certain things can be better. Like, I think the biggest issue I have right now is that there are times where it feels like the game is supposed to notify you, like, when certain things are under attack, whether it be your units or even your structures. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it feels like it misses the mark on it. It doesn't quite hit it that well, which can be irritating, especially early on.
If you don't know about that, and it ends up causing a ripple effect through your whole...
Yeah, you don't know until, like, literally it's too late. And that's a problem. But that seems to be getting better.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it works well. And I feel like it is... if you're just looking for something that's fresh for that genre, this is the game for you to buy right now.
I mean, and look, people, it's number 2 or in at least the top 3.
Yeah.
Since it's come out on Steam, pretty much.
Yeah, I think that I said it's crossed about 1 million in sales.
And that means people like it. So if this is... it's speaking to me, and I'm not an RTS guy. Just I do love a game like a Roller Coaster Tycoon. I know this is not the same. Or when I dabbled... it's
a little bit like an RTS.
When I dabbled in StarCraft. Mm-hmm. It's fun. I just have never found myself completely going head first into it. But this, for some reason...
Yeah.
Because of the concept, it's kind of got me wanting to maybe check it out.
Like I say, it's cool just because it's taking something that most people will know what to do basically if you play that genre, but it's going to present you with new challenges, especially as you crank up the difficulty. And like I said, I think for a zombie perspective, it's like you take something that is the essence of zombies. Like people always go like, well, why are zombies terrifying? Well, it's like, well, one zombie isn't usually terrifying unless you're talking like 28 days later zombies. It's more the fact that one zombie stumbles around and finds the one person who's sleeping or something, takes a bite, and now 1 has become 2, and then 2 becomes 4, and then 4 becomes 8, and so on. It keeps multiplying up. Most games, they can't capture that. Like, most games, it's like, no, the zombie world has fallen, so now just try to survive and not get caught by them.
Yeah, this is like, no, dog, this is... Yeah. They're there, defend.
Like, it's just kind of like how it was like when Walking Dead came out, both the comic and the game, where it's like that isn't so much about just dealing with zombies. It's more of like dealing with what life could be like for you on a daily basis in the zombie world. That was why that was interesting and fresh to me, and I think a lot of other people. This is kind of the same thing. It's like here is something where you're actually getting this side of zombies where you don't usually see it as much. Dude. And it's frightening to like think of like where you can watch this colony of like I've built up colony sizes like to 1,000 people, and I watch them go from that to all of a sudden like
to
it's down
6 people.
Well, not that I've seen like 1,000 person colony go back down to like 400 real quick.
Oh.
Just because they wiped out so many houses and people instantaneously, and it's like, well. All right, try again.
That is really cool, man. That picture that I just saw for the first time has got me going, wow, do I need to get this game? So.
Yeah, if you look at the picture for the episode this week that we made,
the staff.
Yeah, the staff will just say.
Are you going to use that one?
It's this one. Hold on.
Oh, yeah.
And those are all zombies right there.
That looks good.
Yeah, this is kind of like endgame stuff.
Wow.
Yeah. It's for real.
I like it.
Yeah. But yeah, highly recommend it if you were a fan of either zombies or RTS games. I think it's worth your time and attention. If you don't want to get the early access, definitely maybe check out the final product.
But it's important to note it's on PC only.
For real. Like most RTS games.
Yeah.
I mean,
we got some people we don't know about yet, Chris. They might be going, well, I'll get find it on the Xbox store.
Well, technically, you can't.
You can?
You can't.
Can't?
Yeah, because it's Steam Early Access game.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
If you do have Humble Bundle, by the way.
Can you just say that again?
Humble Bundle. If you're a subscriber to Humble Monthly, I believe, you can get it for $20 right now. So if you want to save a few bucks and also donate to charity, go for it.
Is that where you made me sign up to get Civ 6?
Yes. Yeah. That is.
Nice. That's all I got.
Did you get Civ 6 yet?
No.
Why don't you get that so we can play it? You know, expansion's coming.
Because of Josh Dalton. He told me not to get it to get WoW.
I'm going to have to...
You're going to have to talk to sick boy John?
We're going to have to. All right.
Or Josh? I'm sorry.
Yeah, Josh, yeah.
That's really funny.
All right.
Is that...
Yeah, that's all I really got to say. I mean, like, I don't know. There's no plot.
It's survive.
Yeah, it's pretty much
smart.
Survive, yeah.
In a real time.
Yes. I don't know what else to say, but it definitely was a game worth talking about.
Well, let's do this. Let's give these people some news, man.
Let's do it.
Hot off the press and straight to your ears. Weekly Games Chat presents the news.
News!
I like how our news division, which might be dead, did not actually fill in the topic of the week on the show notes this week.
Well, they weren't aware. There was some possibility.
They were totally aware.
Okay.
You throw him under the bus right now, sir.
All wheels will run over the news department from the bus.
First up, Xbox Game Pass. Good news!
Yeah.
There was a exclamation
point.
You
have to read it like that. There's no other way.
Microsoft has announced all games released from Microsoft Studios will now be available for Xbox Game Pass on the day of release, beginning with Sea of Thieves. Microsoft includes all future titles such as State of Decay 2, Crackdown 3, and an unannounced Halo, Forza, and Gears of War titles to be included. Xbox Games Pass is Microsoft's Netflix subscription service and offers access to select games from 360 and Xbox One. This seems huge. Like, this has potential to be huge. Huge.
Yeah, if you think about something being like a Netflix, that's air quoted, type service. So, you pay $14.99 a month for Netflix or whatever it is that you pay.
Yeah.
And then you just got a ton of things to look forward to. You got TV shows, you got movies, you got this, and this. So now you're thinking Microsoft's doing that same thing.
Sure.
But now you're paying. Do we have an idea of how much it is? I don't know.
I want to say it's somewhere between 10 and 15. I know that.
So you're telling me if I pay $15 a month, I'm going to be able to play the new Gears as soon as it comes out?
Any of them. Yeah.
Yeah. The new Ori.
That's
as soon as it comes out.
Yeah, like that's interesting to think like that. And two, like if you're not someone who wants to consistently pay, just think this. You could sit there and 2 days before Halo 6 comes out, renew your subscription, download the game, play as much as you want, and when you say, okay, I'm good, pause. Unless there's something else out there you want to play. And I think if you see this work and you see this return of everyone playing these games for this community, I definitely will not be surprised. There will be a developer who will bite on this same concept and saying, on day one, our game's going to be available on Xbox Game Pass. And once that happens, it's kind of like a domino effect, right? You start to see it like...
How can they only charge $15? How are they going to make money?
Because if you have shoot, you have 30 million people that have Xbox, right. Or 40, whatever it is.
Okay, you're looking like that.
Somewhere 30 and 40 million people on Xbox.
So you're saying there are going to be people who normally wouldn't maybe buy the game, but now because they're sub to the Microsoft Pass.
Like, I'm trying to think of games that could benefit, like Square Enix with Deus Ex, right? Deus Ex kind of had meh sales.
It's free now.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they took it free to play, but like imagine if that game had been free on the day of release, or imagine next fall, right?
Yeah.
Next fall, we get to the fall, and sure,
next fall we get to the fall.
Yeah, next fall, when we get to the fall next fall, right? Imagine, so Halo 6 comes out next fall, let's say, right? Let's say that actually gets announced and is confirmed. Well, if I have to not worry about buying Halo 6 because I already subscribe to this monthly, and I know I'm going to get it, that gives me more money than to turn around and buy, say, I'm trying to think of games that will probably be out this fall. Spider-Man. I have money to go buy that now. Or for the case of Microsoft, I can easily go buy NBA 2K because I've already saved all this money that I was going to spend last week on spending $60 for Halo. Now I can turn around, I can spend that on NBA 2K, which is still a win for Microsoft, right? If I'm buying it on their console, because they get a cut of those software sales. So this makes it easier for people to buy more games that they want because they're, say Microsoft does have a scenario this fall, like where let's say Will the Wisp comes out and State of Decay comes out and a Halo comes out. And say, I don't know if it's coming out, but say Forza Horizon 4 comes out this fall. All of a sudden, there's 4 games coming out this fall that would have cost you a total of, $240? Yeah, now those are all taken care of. I can just play them at my leisure.
It's crazy to think, but then at the same time, if you look at it from like a movie standpoint or even a music standpoint, even though the music's more of a one-sided thing, but movies have a Netflix type thing.
Sure.
They have a Redbox type thing. And then you can still go to the stores. You can go to Target and buy the movies.
Yeah.
So that kind of market should still exist for like video games.
Yeah, I don't think
it's going to take over the world, but it could really start making some trends happen.
It's going to start a tendency. And like I said, I don't know who, but I really do think there's going to be something from a studio where they look at it and they say, guys, if we release, I'll give you another great example. Like, think of Prey earlier this year or last year.
More people probably would play it.
I think if Prey had come out on a service like this on day one, and it's just something that's included in my $20 subscription along with 100 plus other games, whatever it is, I think a lot more people would have given Prey a shot. I don't know how many more people would have loved Prey, but they would have given it a shot. And if you're imagine if anytime you're going to do a new franchise, you put it on here first, and then the next time you come around, you go like, okay,
but see that
you got that free one.
You just set me up to an idea. You just said, what if they played it and hated it? It could kill a franchise.
It could, but at the very least, you got the exposure.
But it could kill a studio. It could kill everything.
I don't think I don't think they would.
Why am I going doom and gloom?
I know. I don't think a studio would be pushing the piece of crap game onto this service. But like, for instance, I'm trying to think of upcoming things that would make sense.
Like Recore. Microsoft would have put that on there.
Yeah, that's a good example. I mean, that's a great example, actually, right there. What else is coming that is out there? Like, where I'm trying to think of like third parties perspective where it makes a lot of sense. Like Ubisoft's game with the pirate game, like based off of Assassin's Creed.
Yeah,
imagine you put that out there on day one on Xbox Game Pass. Like everyone goes that has this now. So say you have 30 million people, 30 or 40 million people, whatever it is, with an Xbox somewhere in there. Like, so 40 million, let's say of them 5 to 10 million end up signing up for this service. That's 5 to 10 million people that may end up playing your game. That's the way you have to look at it. You will never, I guarantee you, that's a very, very unlikely scenario. Watchdog. That's a great example of a game that
if what Chris just said didn't hit you like it just hit me,
yes,
then you're missing the entire point, and you should just wait till the next piece of news.
There will be, you should do that. Think if you're an indie developer, all those kinds of things, like, man, if Microsoft manages this right, it does have potential.
Let me
to
ask
be
you
very
this:
huge.
Do you think if Microsoft handles it right, Sony and Nintendo are looking like Nintendo's chock full of IPs?
Yeah,
Nintendo made IPs.
Nintendo, I think. I'll say this: Nintendo's slow to these kinds of things.
Yeah,
I don't want to. I don't want to be disrespectful,
But
Sony, I think, is probably looking. The thing, like Sony right now is in a position where they're king, so they're kind of just trying to do what they can to keep and maximize what they have already because it's so powerful for them. But Microsoft is kind of in a position of like right now where they were back when you think to the PS2. Original Xbox era,
I'm feeling
where
it.
PS2 was dominating everything, and Microsoft came back and did 360 and took all these crazy risks.
They did 360.
Yeah, I mean, they pushed forward, and literally they defined kind of like you think of most things that we use in video games right now. They came out from, in part, a lot of the work that Microsoft did between the back half of the Xbox and pretty much throughout the whole entire cycle of the 360. And then they got crazy and lazy, and now they've fallen off a cliff, and now you have someone like Phil Spencer who's coming and going like, well, why not? And saying, let's try this and see what happens. And I don't know if it'll be a success, but to me it sounds like, man, if I'm a game developer and they get a good deal of that, like especially if you say...
The reason it's getting pushed is because somebody looked at that and just like you said...
Yeah.
We're looking at 1 to 2 million sales physical. What if that turns into 5 to 15 million people?
Sure. Like, and you can make deal. Like, you think like they could make deals that say like, because obviously, since everything's digital, Microsoft will be able to track all downloads and everything. So you could make deals with these companies that said like, look, you put this out on release, right? Your release date on our console for the service. Based on if you can hit between all of our subscribers, if you hit these percentages of downloads within the first 5 days of release, we will kick this much of the monthly profits back to you. From there. And all of a sudden there's incentive for like I can see the way they make this profitable for everyone where they're going to be like, okay, this makes business sense for us. It might not, like I say, it doesn't make business sense for say like Rockstar. Rockstar can charge $60 till the end of time whenever they put out a game. But for other things, like, shoot, you could even make a case for sports titles. You guarantee me that people are going to play my new version, and like especially if you're Madden or NBA 2K, and they're going to get in there and give me money to play Ultimate Team.
Yeah, but that's EA Sports already has EA Access, so.
Yeah, but I mean that's a partner, and
I know
I could see them easily saying, "We're fine. We'll take the money." Say Anthem comes out on day one.
Do we have some news for Anthem, people?
Right? Oh, well, we'll get to there.
Yeah.
Let's get to the good release date news first. God of War,
yes,
gets a release date. Sony has announced that God of War will release on PS4 on April 20th, the same day as Nintendo Labo.
It has nothing to do with people who like to smoke a doobie.
Hey, well, that's why those are the people playing Nintendo Labo. Let's just be honest. Okay. Director Cory Balrog called the date his favorite release day of my entire career. If I live to be 100, I do not think I will be able to top this release date. There has been a long journey to reach this point, so it's a little bittersweet to think that we are only a few months away from the journey finally coming to an end. A news released alongside a new trailer, which gives more insight to the game's story. Pre-ordering any edition of God of War will earn you 3 legendary shield skins, and pre-orders at certain additional retailers will receive a Luck of Ages XP boost. Sounds like when I hear that, I'm like, oh, so there's going to be loot boxes in this game, is there?
Who knows? But that trailer was very good.
Yeah, solid. That was great.
That was solid. It kind of makes me, I don't know. I think you're going to play as the son and as him a lot.
I wouldn't be surprised. The one thing I caught or seemed to like catch is like that part with the tree and it's telling him to chop his head off or whatever, carry him around. And I'm wondering, like, the first thing that popped in my mind was I was like, I wonder if that's Odin, like Odin tree.
Yeah.
So supposedly it's supposed to be about him going to or setting up like the possibility of him having to deal with all sorts of different mythologies out there eventually, where they could go off and do like Egyptian and all that. So That's really cool.
It is cool. It's fresh. It's cool. So I'm excited to play it, man.
I want to play it. It's definitely.
Do you still have a PlayStation?
That's funny. I'm playing a PlayStation game right now. I hate
That's
you.
what's funny about that.
Well, speaking also of God of War, this is sad.
Yeah.
David Jaffe faces layoffs. David Jaffe's Bartlett Jones Supernatural Detective Agency, great title, suffered a big loss today regarding the cancellation of one of its major products. In a statement, Jaffe said the vast majority of the studio's game division are being let go following the cancellation. David Jaffe's studio was recently responsible for Drawn to Death, a free-to-play arena shooter. David Jaffe is the creator of God of War and also Twisted Metal. So rest in peace, Twisted Metal.
That kind of...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not too shocked. I think David Jaffe, I hate to say this, but like his ideas, his core ideas are from a different time.
Different era. I was going to say the same thing, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if like he, like God of War is the last thing he made that was like, wow. Like as far as something from him, and you see they had to completely re-evolve that, and he kind of tried to do that with Twisted Metal back in the day with what was it, Twisted Metal Black,
yeah,
and it didn't feel like a good result. So I just wonder if maybe, no disrespect to the guy, like he has this moment in history. He's got two humongous PlayStation franchises in terms of the history of PlayStation that were successful.
Yeah,
but it just might be his time is done.
Hashtag rip.
Right. Speaking,
whoa,
yeah,
whoa,
I know. I'm upset about this news too.
Sorry, Penny.
Wow, she's like
she hears a frequency we don't. Apparently,
she probably hears dogs.
How do you hear dogs?
I don't know.
We have sound muffling headphones on, and I'm asking why can't we hear what she hears?
Right. Sad news. This is what she was really crying about.
Yeah.
Anthem delayed.
What year, Chris?
I believe 2019. Before I start, this did not surprise me one bit.
No. I think we actually called that.
Yeah. BioWare is focusing more resources towards the upcoming title for an early 2019 release date after it announced the game was pushed out of the 2018 release date window. BioWare has focused the majority of its team from both the Edmonton and Austin studios into the development of Anthem. Many sources have relayed to Kotaku the pressure the studio is facing by EA for a release date no later than March 2019. That is understandable considering EA's recent trouble with prior releases. Anyone who knows the history of BioWare, it's kind of like if someone said to me, name two companies that will always delay a game every single time they announce a release date. And I would say first, Rockstar. Second, BioWare. Every single time. I've never played Mass Effect that did not get delayed until this recent one, which is why it probably sucked. Every Dragon Age has been delayed. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic just the Old Republic got delayed. I mean, it's what they do because they have vision and they want to put out the best thing. It does worry me that it sounds like EA's like this needs to be out by March 2019 because
so instead of that open-ended, we're going to put it out when it's right. They're going to have some external pressure from EA for sure. And
hopefully, you just have to hope for now having someone like Casey Hudson back there that if he feels like, look, this game, if it comes out today, is going to be bad and we're going to be branded as bad. Versus if you give me 6 more months and you put it out in the fall of 2019, it could be one of the best games the studio's ever made, that he would do it. On the other hand, if it's kind of just stringing along and they're like, look, we got to put this out there and it is what it is, then I'm sure they'll do that too.
Well, I can't wait to play it either way from what I've seen. So I hope it doesn't change as far as what I've seen too much, but we'll see.
Yep. For Honor getting dedicated servers, Ubisoft has announced that Season 5, Age of Wolves, they're already on 5 seasons now?
What?
Will gain the access of dedicated servers. It took them a year to get dedicated servers. By changing the way you connect to For Honor matches, the development team is doing away with resyncing session migrations and NAT requirements in order to deliver stable connectivity on all platforms. Matches will now be more stable. NAT types will be no longer restrict to or hinder players' ability to group and matchmake. And matchmaking will create sessions more easily, leading to better overall matchmaking success. That's cool they're doing this, but to me, I hate to say this, but when you're one of the top major developers in the world, if you're making an online game at this point, I kind of expect you from day one to have dedicated servers.
Yeah.
You know, and there was a problem I had with this game last year was like there are times you could just tell you're playing someone who the game is running off their connection.
Yeah.
And they're like located in Russia. So there's a little bit of delay between when they do something and when you do something.
Yes.
So they become God and you become fodder. You know, it sucks.
Bantha fodder?
Bantha fodder, yes.
Okay. Is it Bantha or Bantha? Bantha or Bantha?
Bantha. I think it's Bantha.
Either way, it's fodder.
That's what they sound like when they die. Speaking of things dying.
Here we go.
Paragon, the shutdown. Epic Games is shutting down its free-to-play MOBA Paragon in April. Epic will continue to operate servers until April 26th. A statement from Epic read, after careful consideration and many difficult internal debates, we feel there isn't a clear path for us to grow Paragon in a MOBA that retains enough players to be sustainable. We did not execute well enough to deliver on the promise of Paragon. We have failed you. Despite the team's incredibly hard work, we are sorry. Epic is offering a full refund for any Paragon player for any purchases they have made. Translation. We have found ourselves a money-making machine, and its name is Fortnite. Yeah, we don't need this. We need everyone on that game, right?
When I read it, that's exactly what I thought.
Yeah.
Because they are balling on Fortnite.
Yeah, you're saying we got this thing that's rivaling the top. At least... So it's definitely, I think it's the console equivalent of what it's been on PC and PUBG. And you have this thing that's a MOBA that, sure, it might be an okay game, but it's like, it's nowhere near the top of the heap of great MOBA games. Sean Hasayak, just stood up and he looked like his Richard just freaking released.
Are you saying I had some sort of O face, Chris?
You may have had a Richard face. I might have just seen your vinegar strokes. That's when you're when you have a release with your the face you make when you have a release with your Richard.
I got you.
You're like,
you have a vinegar face.
Yes,
I do not.
I'll show you some vinegar stroke faces.
What happened? What?
From a TV show. Assassin's Creed Origins getting New Game Plus.
How does a man who died 2 weeks ago find a way to sneak some Assassin's Creed news into this?
Oh, he'll never lose away.
Oh my goodness!
New Game Plus is coming. I'm surprised he didn't put the news about the release of the first expansion.
Right,
which I've heard is meh.
That's probably why.
Yeah. But anyways, New Game Plus is coming. We'll have more information to share soon. This mode has been heavily requested by fans of Origins, and it looks like Ubisoft has listened. The news was revealed on Assassin's Creed subreddit. That's
top notch.
Yeah,
reporting right
really,
there.
Yeah. Hey, this thing is coming.
We got it from here. Good.
Came from a Reddit. That's cool. They're adding it.
Well, I mean, if they're listening to their people who want it, yeah, that's good. But
yeah, I wonder what they'll rate if they're going to do it. My only question would be where they're going to raise the level cap to. That'd be my only question.
I don't know what that means.
Most new Plus games, you keep going. You roll over your character that you ended with. You keep
I get
everything.
that, but I don't know what that means in terms of Assassin's
right
Creed.
now, the max level is 40, and you can keep earning, I believe, ability points to continue to build out the ability tree, but
your level will be topped out.
Yeah, regardless. So I'm wondering how that's going to manage. The next Dragon Age. Ooh.
This is big.
Yeah.
I'm going to get all hyped to play it and then hate it.
According to BioWare's Casey Hudson, the new Dragon Age game will be a live experience, meaning designing a game for continued storytelling after the main story. Although we know of the game in development, not much is known. Not much else is known about it.
Another top-notch news article.
Just rush.
This is the equivalent of when Metroid Prime was shown at the Nintendo thing, and then also when the Pokemon game. We have a Pokemon game we're working on. This is it.
It's coming. Or when they announced Super Smash Bros. for Wii U, they're like, so the guy doesn't know, but we're making this.
Awesome.
That's pretty cool. I mean, So it sounds like they're moving it to a thing, maybe a little bit. I wonder if it's going to be how Skyrim is, or the idea behind Skyrim and Fallout, where it's like after you beat this thing, it's set up in a way where you would continually have things to go do and maybe challenge you on any daily basis. Like you'll always, in theory, have something you want to go do in this world, you know. So
that would be cool for that.
Yeah, I mean, especially given the fact that like the last one had like 100+ hours of content to go do.
Did you play that much?
I got to about 180. Yeah,
hours played.
Yeah, and I still haven't beat everything,
dude.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot. So much. So many dragons. They are hard.
I think I've only seen one dragon in Dragon Age Inquisition.
They are hard. They're very, very hard. Software sales on the Switch. According to the State of the Game industry report put out by the GDC conference, Switch's powerful console sales are helping software sales. The respondents to the question, have Switch games sales compared to average across all platforms you launched on, answered that sales have been average or greater than average, with only 16% saying they were less than average.
I have no idea what you just read.
Okay, so basically developers who were polled who have made a Switch game are saying, they asked them how well have they been doing in sales on the Switch. Right. And they're saying they've at least performed as good or even better
than they projected.
Yeah, well, compared to other consoles.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
I kind of look at it like these kind of
that can
polls,
be skewed a little bit.
Yeah, like I've seen them for like this is the same kind of group of thing where if you asked like when they polled these people like back 3 years ago, they're like, "What's the game you want to make?" They're all like, "VR game." You know, that was the number one thing, and now the number one thing is a Switch game. The big thing like with this is it doesn't surprise me because I would imagine, like for instance, if you're a small indie developer, I would imagine you release this game on Switch, you release it on PC, and you release it on, say, PlayStation 4 and Xbox in the store, it doesn't surprise me that your game would do just as well on those, right? The question is, if you took to me personally, is if you had the major developers, so you had EA, Ubisoft, Activision, and who am I missing here? Oh, 2K. Between the big four, if you will, like, how do their games do? Like, how did NBA 2K do on Switch compared to the other consoles in terms of attach rate, you know, to people on that console? How did FIFA do? You know, compare. Of course, Activision doesn't have anything out, so we can't talk about that. Ubisoft, I believe the only thing we had really of note last year that wasn't just a port was Mario & Rabbids, which was an exclusive. So from what it sounds like, that game did really well for them. So the question now is like, so if they put out that pirate game or they put out, I'm trying to think other things that they have coming, how well they would do.
Well, the all of this is it's almost overspeak because don't you think we talked about this too? But if the console sells well,
sure,
then software will also sell well.
I agree, and I do think like right now there's an exodus of all the indie developers right now are like, I need to get my game on the Switch. Yeah, like if you like for instance Celeste, you know,
it's on the Switch.
Is on the Switch, and I guarantee you that studio, you know, probably once Switch got revealed and all that said, how can we work to make sure this is out the same day as the other three consoles? Because, you know, there was no reason why I couldn't run on Switch or anything like that. But it's just like, hey, here's a fresh new title for a thing that is looking for fresh new titles versus say, hey, here's this thing that's going to be on Steam and PlayStation 4 and get like bogged down with 50 other million things there on PlayStation 4 and that. I'm sure it will become that way similar soon for Switch, where eventually you get all these indie games and it's like you don't know what's good or what's
that's
crap.
What you don't want.
Yeah, it's like everyone goes back and they forget like Xbox used to be really restrictive with games on Xbox Live Arcade and their requirements, and everyone complained. They said no, they'll make it intuitive, but you always knew you were getting quality with that. Like, you know, it had to meet certain thresholds, so you were willing to give those games a shot. Now it's kind of more of like you kind of just have to hope that websites and streamers get access to the right things and they push them forward, and that's how you know there's a game you need to go play, as opposed to just putting it out there and it being like, what's this?
Yeah, and I don't like the what's this things.
Yeah, I don't like it either. I like to know if something's decent before I buy, or especially like a little small thing like that. But I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, you're looking at what you want to say.
I am.
But you got to say something first.
I do. Are you right for
And they're
it?
going, what are they talking about right now?
Finally this week.
Oh.
Finally this week.
Speaking of lemon faces, what?
Epic Boss. Interested in Fortnite for Switch.
This would be a big one.
It is. I'm going with this voice this week. Is that okay?
But just read it.
Okay.
This would be a big one.
While there are no confirmed plans.
Right.
There is interest from a key member at Epic Games that Fortnite could happen for Switch. In responding to the question concerning the game on Switch, Donald Mustard, not related to Donald Ketchup.
Or Colonel Mustard.
Or Clue.
Because
he's worldwide creative director, said he wants to see the game on Switch eventually. Another top-notch
news article.
You could just tell he was dead, right?
Oh my God. It's like, just some guy on the street was like, hey, you want to hear some news?
Hey, man, I hear that Fortnite might be coming somewhere.
Who'd you hear that from? Donald Mustard.
Netflix might be coming somewhere. But anyway.
Oh my God.
I guess I could see, I mean, it makes sense to put it there. It's another avenue.
Yeah, but
the question is, how well would it run? That's the question, right?
Yeah.
I mean, partying up isn't really the strong suit of Nintendo, nor voice chat right now. So I wonder, in a game that is highly dependent on squad and duo modes about communication, how well that would run.
Solo mode only.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like they've had to work a lot to make this game run really, really great and look really, really great on PS4 and Xbox, especially like non-pro and Xbox One X versions, just as PUBG is struggling with Xbox. So you wonder how well that would work. On the other hand, the solo game on Switch would be awesome because, you know, like you think like someone like, especially Jeff and Mike, who love to grind the heck out of that solo game. Like imagine being able to log in and take your Switch with you on the go, and, you know, maybe you grind, and right. The idea is it saves up all your progress, and then when next time you connect to an online source, it uploads all your stats and your data to your account. So then if you're going to earn some free V-Bucks, that's there for you, right?
Yeah.
But on the other hand, hey, I'm always for like cool things coming there, but it'll be interesting to see if they can make it work and it be up to everyone's demands and standards. I think that's fair.
I know how it runs on PC. I know how it runs on PlayStation 4, and I've seen it on Xbox. I don't know if it's a good fit for the Switch, other than they're wanting to make it be a Switch title so they can push that people can play it to go.
Yeah, I agree.
So we'll see. But then again, we're reporting on a possible bootleg news article.
Yeah, I mean, like
with no.
I don't even see where it's citing. It doesn't even just. Apparently, Don Mustard was like at the mustard stand and was like, "Hey, I'd like it if it was on Switch."
All the information given in that last news article is completely subjective. We don't know. We don't even know if we don't know.
I don't know where these suspect stories come from.
Love you, John.
Yeah, they come from beyond the grave. He's so turning off the podcast right now.
He's like, these mother.
Man, he is going to go after us.
It'll be all right.
Yeah, he'll hopefully be antigen free when he does it. So
hopefully, yeah. I told you, man. He got his medicine filled and decided he didn't even want to take it, or it hadn't got filled yet. And he's like, "Hey, you want to go eat some lunch?" I'm like, "No, Walking Dead, I don't."
What'd you pick up for him?
Crystals. He got a number 1, which is 4 cheese crystals. For you northern folk, that's like White Castle.
Pretty much.
For you English and across the pond folk, I have no idea what you have over there. Just think of little bitty square hamburgers that get steamed. So John got a number...
Fish and chips.
He got a number 1 with cheese and bacon. With a Diet Coke. Who drinks Diet Coke?
John drinks a lot.
John Bear. Yes, John.
John drinks Diet Coke, and really, it's for him Diet Dr. Pepper. That's his go-to.
They don't have that there.
No. We ready to go wrap this up?
Never.
Okay.
All right. Electronic mail of the future.
What the heck was that last part? We're supposed to go, emails!
Emails!
There we go. Don't ever deviate with that off the cup. Shut that down.
Electronic mail.
If you want to write your thoughts or opinions in, you can do so by going and emailing us at weeklygameschat@gmail.com. That's weeklygameschat@gmail.com. If you don't know how to spell Weekly Games Chat, why don't you look at the name of the podcast, and that'll be
on your device you're listening from right
There's
now.
no like spaces there. It's just like Weekly Games Chat. That's it. No space. Just one hive thing. So there's that. And you know who figured that out? Clay.
Clay
figured it out. He says, "Hey there, fellas.
Hey, Clay.
Clay here. Been a while.
It's been a while.
And just been super busy with work. Anyways, just wanted to ask you three what your thoughts of God of War, Yakuza 6, and Secret of Mana coming out in the next few months. I went and pre-ordered all of them and would like to know what you thought. I also got the Stone Mason edition of God of War and the premium edition of Yakuza 6. What do you guys do with your collectibles from games or whatnot? I haven't missed an episode since I found you guys, October and November of 2016. Woo, dedication, Clay. Because let's just say, not all of them are winners.
Yeah.
The ball is
that's
dropped.
2016.
Yeah,
Ooh.
2016.
Oof.
That's Hatchet days right there. Yeah.
Thank you.
That is.
If we ever get T-shirts, you'll get one.
That's Geek versus Games. Oof. God. You guys are definitely the best gaming cast, and I can't wait to listen to every week. As always, keep up the great fun you provide week in and week out. Game on.
Game on. Unfortunately, John isn't here to weigh in, but
well, he died.
Rip John.
Yeah.
We talked about it this week. We're both excited, possibly to play God of War.
I think that will be the game I can pencil in without a doubt. Right now, all three of us will play when it comes out. Because I don't know if you're getting Far Cry. I'm sure John and I will play Far Cry, and that comes out like a month before. Maybe you will. We'll find out.
I'm probably not playing Far Cry.
What the is wrong with you?
I don't know. I don't want to.
Why are you a Richard to Far Cry?
I'm not.
You're a Richard.
I played Primal and liked it.
You're a Richard.
As far as Yakuza,
yeah,
I've kind of started wanting to play a Yakuza game. I don't know if 6 is a good one to dive into.
Just like Godfather Part 3. Let's just dive.
Let's just go right to Godfather 3. So let me know if you can
Who's
just jump in.
Who's Fredo guy?
Who's Fredo? Oh,
exactly.
Oh,
yeah. Well, you don't know.
Oh, yeah. Let us know if Yakuza is a title you can jump into like that.
He said before. Let us know, Clay, if it is something we can pick up.
What's the other one?
Secret of Mana, which I believe is a RPG. I think I have not looked at enough. It may be something I play that would be got good reviews. Time to check it out type thing. God of War though, yeah, definitely playing God of War.
As far as my collectibles for games, I got the Zelda Collector's Edition that came with the Master Sword, kind of like in this thing. Reggie showed it off on the Nintendo Treehouse prior to the Breath of the Wild release. Ready. So I display it. Most of my things I do like open and display. I can't think of a video game related thing is what I'm talking about that I don't open. I can't see that. I see that it's Woody. But we keep them and display them. Chris gives me he pre-orders things. He's gotten a pin one time.
Yeah.
He gave it to me, like a lapel pin.
That's for
posters and things like that. I
that's
usually
for
get them a
Prey,
brother. Yeah.
I believe. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't collect as much as I used to.
You do.
My nicest thing is that Halo.
Yeah, right behind me. I was going to say there's a nice Master Chief Halo helmet that looks.
If I have them, I'll display them. But I just find for the most part, I'm
like amiibos we open.
Yeah, I'm not one of those guys.
But I think he's more talking about like if you order the special editions.
Yeah. There are times like
you had a Fallout lunchbox.
I do. It's like the ones I really want are just so expensive, and at the time of pre-ordering, I never think to. And honestly, with a lot of these now, if you don't pre-order day one, you're not going to get. Like for instance, I would love to have like the Skyrim Dragon one, but
you didn't think about it.
You know, being able to go into the store and be like, okay, I'm going to reserve this $250 edition of this game. It's like, I can't do that. I'm not going to do that, so I'm fine. To me, if the game is amazing and gives me hours of enjoyment, that's
all you need.
Yeah, that's the only collection I need in my heart.
What's happening right now?
I don't know.
I don't know if I like soft Chris.
Next up, Daniel from New York writes in.
Hey, what's up, Daniel?
Right? New York.
Yeah. Pizza. Bagels.
He's like, he's pissed off about the Super Bowl. Philly and New England.
Oh, yeah. I didn't think about that. That's a tough spot. Let's see what he says.
Yeah, he says, hey guys again.
Hey, again.
When I listened to you guys respond to my first email, it put a smile on my face.
Yeah.
And I was so happy. He put like 3 O's on
That's what's up.
So that's why I did it that way. Also, should I save up to buy an Xbox One at my place or just keep saving up for a Switch because I have Xbox Live Gold? Also, should I keep my 360 because the disc tray can't open up? Oof. What do you think the next AC game will be after Rogue Remastered? Will it be 3 Remastered? Will it be Black Flag Remastered? Either way, it's my goal to rebuy all the AC games. I know I sound like an AC fanatic, but I just keep bringing up the subject because of the opinion of Rogue. I will rate you guys on iTunes later this week, and it's a 5-star steal for sure. By the way, if you like the show, make sure you
do exactly that.
Yeah, rate us on
Chris will tell you why later.
Yeah. What's your guys' take on net neutrality? See, Chris, net neutrality that's funny.
That is so funny.
So funny.
That is unbelievably funny.
You guys are still awesome to me. Game on.
Thank you so much.
Let's see. Let's start off here. 1, if you're an Xbox gamer and you primarily want to play AC games, I would say then get an Xbox One X.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if you just want to expand out and have other things and you love Nintendo games, then sure, go get you a Switch.
I would add that if you have enough money saved to buy both, buy both.
Yeah, that's true.
But I speak of a world that you may not know of.
Yeah, that's true.
The Xbox 360, I will say that my little brother has one as well as an Xbox One S. Mm-hmm. And I think it depends on your friends. If you got some friends that still are playing 360 games like a Call of Duty something, you may still play that Xbox 360, but for the most part, he's playing his Xbox One S.
Yeah, it's definitely a dying, if not dead, generation at this point. Let's see, AC. I'll say this: I don't want any remasters. And especially Black Flag, because I don't understand why you would remaster it.
Yeah, it still looks pretty good on PS4.
I mean, yeah, that game came out with the launch of PS4 and Xbox One, and it looked sweet on both of those. You know, there's not like I need a graphical update on those.
And I agree with you. I'm not ready for remasters yet on like a AC3 or a 2 or
yeah. I mean, well, they did the collection, the Ezio one, and that's fine. But I just don't need that for those games. Like those games are fine where they are. It's not. I would rather it be, if you're going to do those things, I would rather it be like Shadow of the Colossus or whatever, where you actually rebuild the game. And even then, I don't think you really need that with this. I would more so hope whatever the next AC game is, it's a new AC game. So whether they're going to continue with the story of Bayek and Aya, or they go off and they do a completely different story, if they're going to continue with the main character from the future state, which is kind of the first time they'd done that in a while, that they introduced in Origins, and they just have her go to a different area of the world, like maybe she goes to Australia or, I don't know, India, take your pick. That would be cool too. So, you know, I I just want, whatever it is, I want it to be interesting and not just start to feel like before, where it feels like we're just doing the same game, but we're just plugging in a different background.
I agree.
Yeah, that's all I asked for. I thought this game really took a lot of chances, and it paid off because it took their time and made sure that it was appropriate for the setting that they were attempting to tell the story in. Finally, Simon writes in.
Oh, hi, Simon.
Hey, Simon. Dear Weekly Games Chat. And literally, Simon sent this about 5 minutes ago, I just want to say. Or, I'm sorry, 13 minutes ago. I was wondering whether you guys were going to do an episode on Kingdom Come Deliverance. It comes out on February 13th and is developed by Warhorse Studios, published by Deep Silver. If you guys don't know what it is, it's an RPG based in the year 1403 in the Bohemian Empire, and it's basically a realistic Skyrim, but with actually good, challenging combat. Ouch. Take that, Todd Howard.
Right?
Keep up the amazing work, Simon. I can't say right now we're planning it, but if it got good reviews and, it kind of gets on our radar and we don't have other things going on,
then we might.
Yeah. Like right now, what we're planning is next week is Monster Hunter, and I think we've already said the week after that is going to be Shadow of the Colossus remastered or whatever remake, what they're calling it. After that, it's open, though there's a game with a girl going up a mountain right now that I'm playing that may get discussed. If you go to IGN and you read their reviews, you'll probably be able to figure it out.
Celeste.
Shut up, Sean. They don't know that. It's a secret. Gosh.
Richard, move.
But that definitely sounds cool. I mean,
that does sound cool.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of era, like you always see it fantasy wise, but it would be cool to actually see something grounded in reality. Watch, there's gonna be like a freaking dragon in this game. I'll have to look at it. Deep Silver does good stuff, and they're not really known on consoles that much, but they're definitely respected much so on the PCs. But we'll see. Possible. We'll find out. I'll let John do that one. John just comes over to my house every night to play this game.
This is terrible.
He's like, I hate RPGs and the Bohemian Empire and Deep Silver and a PC.
Well, John, you shouldn't have died.
This is the only way you can come back.
That's so funny. A
wizard said so. You got to beat 3 PC RPGs. Sean, the guy mentions on the Twitter space.
We got a couple. Want to give a kind of a, just because it's Super Bowl week, and last week you talked about, I'm not going to combine myself with you on that, but you talked about how awful the Philly fans are.
They are awful. They are terrible people.
So, with that in mind, upon listening to that last week's episode, at Carl Hayes 21, he just said at Weekly Games Chat, and then in all caps, Philly fans are the worst.
Thank you. Carl knows what's up.
So I imagine either I wouldn't say that, I'm going to assume he's going for the Patriots, but if he hates them that bad.
Well, if you assume.
You
make a thing we can't say, but Umi, yeah.
And the last one I got is a DM on the Twitter, which, yes, we do check and respond to.
That's a direct message for those who are unfamiliar, a.k.a. John.
Hit me up in the DM.
John Beyond the Grave, DM is direct message.
So at Nat the Gooner.
Top notch name.
He says, hello, guys.
That name got 5 Richards.
And his picture is like Charlie Brown's head, so it's awesome.
Awesome.
He says, hello, guys.
Hello.
Hey. He says, thanks for the superb podcast. Best one I listened to all week. And then he says, and I listen to lots. I have a question. Do you know of a way to see if the hardware on a console has been updated or revised?
Ooh.
I know that as consoles are manufactured, the internals get streamlined and improved. The reason I ask is that I'm planning on getting a Switch at some point this year, and I'd be happier knowing that some of the wrinkles like Joy-Cons losing their connection and the bulging cases that have been ironed out. Thanks again from Nat the Gooner, which, by the way, he's from merry old England.
Ah.
Yep. And I let him know that was a great question that we would talk about on the air. And he said that I am a king among men. And he pointed out that king would be Richard III.
There you go. Not the fourth, but the third.
So that is a great question. I'll let Chris kind of talk about it if he wants to.
As far as I know, with the issues he is talking about, especially with the Joy-Cons, I know that got resolved very quickly after launch, and they started altering the way they were doing the IR blasters on them.
And there was IR blasters.
Yeah, there was that, and then I know they did something like basically for the ones who were having problems with it, you could just send it in. They replaced it for free for you. So I know that's not an issue. As far as the bulging screens, I don't know if that's something that was a wide enough issue. Like that was a huge thing.
I didn't have that. John's issue, if you remember, was his docking station.
Yeah.
For some reason, that was causing an issue. But I'll tell you now, I own 2 Switches. Chris had a Switch, didn't have an issue.
Yeah.
Everything works great for me. And I have one of mine is like day one Switch release thing. So I feel like you should feel okay about those things.
Yeah. If I'll say this, usually if they make a major significant change to the production line, they put out a press release to let it know. Like, for instance, Microsoft had to do that way back, of course, with the 3 red lights fiasco. So they, like, you know, when they finally figured out what was wrong.
You're going to call it the 3 red lights fiasco?
That's, 3 red lights.
It was the 3 rings of death.
Oh, yeah. You can call that too. It was always 3 rings of death or 3 red lights. Those were the 2 monikers. There was a podcast called 3 Red Lights. It was really freaking hilarious. I used to love it. One of the first I ever listened to. But you know, back when that happened and they finally got it fixed and they figured it out, which was like something like with the lead element that they were doing that would heat up and dissolve after a while if the console ran too long. When they fixed it, they put out a press release to let everyone know. And then, of course, obviously, whenever they do a revision, like for instance, from Xbox One to Xbox One S, usually they will tell you all the little upgrades and changes in hardware that happen. Like, you know, of course, for instance, Xbox One S put a 4K Blu-ray drive in there. And I think also beefed up the power of the processor. If it's a software update, they're just going to release those notes as it goes along. So you'll know, like, hey, this is how the computer is going to run now based on these specs that the software update has done to the OS.
And it's like the software, yes, they're going to patch as they go. Hardware, at this point, you're going to be fine.
Yeah.
Again,
you're talking about almost a year now.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
I want to thank you again for that DM and remind people that if you want to either tweet at us or DM me, you of course do that. You go to Twitter, which should be an app on your phone. You can also get to it from PC. And we are at Weekly Games Chat. See, John, a tweet is.
That's funny. See, Twitter is.
And
social
Chris,
media.
You're going to let them know one more time how they find us on other means?
Yeah, if you want to not go to Twitter because you're a Facebook guy, you can go over to facebook.com/Weekly Games Chat, and you can find us there, post us. Hey, if you want to ever, here's a heads up for folks. If you want to know what the topic is probably going to be for the week before you get to Wednesday, I update now every week the profile pic with whatever the episode pic is going to be.
Usually on Monday.
Yeah, like I'll do it Sunday night or sometimes Monday right after record. Basically, whenever here's a fun tip. Whenever I get done creating it, that's usually the first thing that has to happen.
Yeah.
Luckily, I've started doing them a little bit earlier where I get them in the can. I need to do the Monster Hunter one next. But if you ever want to know, if you're wondering what's coming next, if we've got an idea, it'll probably be up there. So there's a fun fact, and we always get some likes whenever we do that change. So they're like, ooh, you know, because we updated stuff.
They're just like that.
Yeah, that's what they say. I like to imagine whenever we do something, they just go, ooh, they're so happy. Besides that, if you like the show, you can subscribe to us on iTunes or whatever podcast service device you like. It helps people, helps us if you do that. You'll get a new episode every Wednesday.
Are you going to bring up YouTube?
Yes. One of those services is YouTube.
Yeah.
You can get that. If you just don't want to search YouTube or whatever, you can hit up Playerway podcast website, which is our buddy BK's thing. We post our episodes there, and they're all the YouTube links for you. So if you want to go on there and and see them while you work or whatever, it's no video. We hate video. Never. Ever.
But if you're subscribe to us on YouTube too, we want to get, because once in a while,
if we get 1 million downloads a week, I will allow video.
Once in a while, Chris will stream a game on YouTube.
Or actually, here, I'll make this thing. If we can get, we will talk about video. I'll say that I'll put this challenge out there to our listeners. Okay, we will talk about finding a way to video if we can, whether if it's just like a Google Hangout of the show or whatever.
Yeah.
Not anything fancy.
I'm so gonna get fancy.
It would be
DJ money.
If we can get to 1,000 followers on Twitter.
Yeah.
If we did that, the day we get to that, we're like at 100 something right now. So it's dependent on you, the listeners, if you want this. If you really want video, then I would say start encouraging your friends to follow us. Don't ignore the fact that our Twitter guy is terrible.
I'm awesome. I make people happy.
They don't know it's you. I'm trying.
They do know it's me.
I'm throwing. You're just the guy who reads the messages.
No.
After Nakamura hands you a phone. I've
had people say, "Hey, you're the guy who does Twitter."
That's funny. But yeah, if we get to 1,000, you know what? I'll go and say we'll figure out a way to add some video for the podcast if possible. Even if it's just like Google Hangouts of it and it's not the actual main audio. We'll see. Maybe, who knows? Maybe someday it will become much, much more. And John's like, I'm not here to make that choice. I'm like, well, you died, so you lost your vote. Okay, John?
You're getting replaced by we don't know who yet.
Well, here, I'll just ask you. Are you cool with that?
I'm cool with it.
Yeah,
we win.
So 2, yeah. Where 2 shall agree, John fails.
That's so awesome.
I figured you would be down.
Yeah, I'm totally down.
Yeah,
we're good.
Yeah. But besides that, this has been episode, I believe, 138 of Weekly Games Chat.
Yeah, it's been enjoyable.
It's been a good one.
I don't know how I'm going to handle having a guy next to me maybe next week.
If you like the show, subscribe to us on iTunes, where it's a podcast.
Anywhere you can subscribe. Just subscribe.
If they've got a subscription service, be like our pal, was it David or Simon? I can't remember now.
David in New York, right?
Yeah, I'm just top-notch guy. I can look at it right now.
It's literally right next to you.
I'm that lazy. I don't want to turn my head. I'm sorry, guys. But if you want to be like them, give us a rating, write a review. Helps people find the show. Therefore, more people will find it, and then so on, whatever. Monster Hunter next week.
It's going down.
There's cats.
What?
They're little cat dudes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what you get out of all the things you said.
That was the first thing. They're like, okay, so design your bro character. And I was like, okay, I got my bro character. And they're like, all right, design your cat. And I was like, what?
Yeah. It's going to be so good. I can't wait.
Yeah. We'll talk about that next week. Maybe with a guest. We'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. Let's just say we'll see.
We'll see. Next time, though, until next time.
Yeah.
I'll say game on, Sean.
Game on, Chris.
Rest in peace, John.
Feel better, John.
Your mom's box.
Peace out, everybody.
Dog life.